So Fire Emblem now has dungeon exploration and turn-based combat just like a traditional RPG, and a 5th hero was revealed in Fire Emblem's Fortune's Weave? Yeah, I just got done watching that Nintendo Direct, and whoa, so much stuff was revealed, and today I want to go over all of it, and that's totally worth the sub as you come and you join a party and you level on up with me. Thank you so much for your sub, your like, and your brand new hype. It helps me out a ton. So the Fire Emblem Direct was roughly 20 or so minutes, and I was watching it for the first 15 or so, and I was like, oh, this is kind of pretty basic stuff. This is all Fire Emblem stuff. And then, like, the last 5 minutes came and I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it. I gotta make a video about this. It's so crazy. It's not even 8 o'clock yet here on the West Coast. It's freezing. And yeah, this is me rolling out of bed pretty much. I'm barely, still kind of having my coffee right here. It's just right here, just drinking it away and watching some Nintendo and making a video. So if you don't know, this game is coming out on September the 17th only for the Switch 2, and whoa, I mean, I am a huge Fire Emblem fan. I've played all the Fire Emblem games, and I was like, oh, I know everything there is to know about Fire Emblem, and Nintendo surprised me. So let's go over everything that we know here. So it takes place in something called the Dagon Empire, where the heroic games are going on, and the winner gets one wish, and there are 4 different heroes who are participating in this heroic game. 5th one does come later. I couldn't believe it. I was shocked y'all with the 5th hero. So there's Kai. He's a young boy. He wants to win the game in order to save his father, who was locked up in jail. So he goes out with his childhood friends, and he wants to win the games. He seems to me like the canonical hero. There's Dietrich, who is a swordsman looking for stronger and stronger foes to fight, and he's on a ship. The ship crashes. Might as well call him Adol. He washes up ashore in Dagda, hears about the heroic games, decides to join. There's Theodora. She's the queen of the southern empire of Ceramis, and her empire is kind of under attack, so she wants to defend the peace of her homeland. And then there's Leda, who is a noble lady. She's a musician, but her father gets murdered, so she is out for revenge. The matches are typical Fire Emblem goodness. It's turn-based combat, all that kind of different stuff. There's different job classes with different stats, different weapons, different ranges and movements. Some has flying, some are horseback, some are just, on foot. There's also 3 different tiers of job classes. You have your beginner jobs, your specialty jobs, and then your advanced jobs. Now, one thing that kind of caught my attention here was I don't think that there's a weapon triangle any longer, and also weapons don't seem to have durability any longer like they typically do in Fire Emblem games. So it seems that you only consume the durability of a weapon if you use the super attacks of that weapon. Let's say that you have a sword and you just attack normally, you're not going to lose any durability. But if your sword calls down a lightning bolt because you used, the sword of lightning or whatever it is, that's going to use up durability and use it so many times, and that is going to eventually make your weapon break. Every single weapon has its own little specialty attack. Some have more attack power, some have different ranges, some can call down lightning, some can do all sorts of different stuff. The reason why I say that I don't think that there's a weapon triangle is because whenever they went over each and every weapon, they didn't really talk too much about how each weapon is only effective against certain things. They did for some things, like they said, bows can attack from a distance and they're good against flying enemies, and they said that spears are good against cavalry and things like that, but otherwise they really didn't talk about any sort of weapon triangle. They said that swords are just a straightforward, easy-to-use weapon that a lot of people can use. Gauntlets allow you to evade a little bit easier. Axes have low accuracy but a high attack power, and magic is effective against heavy armor, attacks from a distance, can attack different weaknesses, do healing, all that kind of good stuff. They also talked about the terrain that can give you an advantage, such as like hiding and getting extra evasion if you're in trees and things like that. And then they talked about something called blaze arts, which are hero-specific skills. So each hero has their own different blaze art, their own different skill. Kai can shoot off this fireball. Dietrich can warp to different areas. Theodora can pick up the earth and throw it, which is really cool. And Leda can buff her allies or summon monsters with her music magic. Now, something that I thought was really freaking cool was that you don't have to just like pick one hero and fight through the entire game with that one hero, kind of like you had to do in Fire Emblem Three Houses. Here, you can actually go and you can switch which hero you control, and you can play all 4 of the hero's stories in parallel. So you can start with Kai, and you can fight, for 10 hours or whatever, and do a lot of his story, and then switch over to Theodora, and start at her level 1, and then go through her story. So you don't have to start 4 different games. You can play all those games in parallel, which is really cool. I really, really liked that. So, while the main game does take place in this Tournament of Heroes, this Champion of Heroes fight, there is time between battle where you can go off and you can recruit new allies, you can hone your combat prowess at the training grounds, you can travel beyond the walls to gain experience, you can do side quests, support conversations, spend your free time, however you choose to, kind of like Fire Emblem Three Houses, with this kind of like Persona Atelier time management, where every time that you move, a different turn goes down, just like it did in the PlayStation 3 Atelier games. Then, they talked about dungeons, which I thought was so freaking cool! You can go into dungeons, and it turns into a traditional, normal JRPG. It is no longer a strategy RPG, it turns into a turn-based, regular RPG. You go in, you explore, you find weapons, you find treasures, and then if you encounter an enemy, you deal with turn-based combat. It showed a battle. You had your 3 party members, you had your enemies, and you can attack them. You can even do combo attacks with your allies, which makes me wonder, will a turn-based Fire Emblem game be next? We've seen Fire Emblem Warriors, which was like a Musu Warriors sort of game, you know what I mean? Fighting action-based game with Fire Emblem characters, but now I'm wondering, are we going to be seeing a turn-based Fire Emblem? That would be so freaking cool. I feel like a huge gap in Nintendo's lineup is turn-based RPGs. They have some here and there. The most noticeable might be like the Mario RPGs, the Mario and Luigi, things like that. But to me, they don't really scratch the itch of something like a Dragon Quest or a Final Fantasy. They're kind of their own different thing. And quite honestly, the earlier Mario RPGs were so much better than the later Mario RPGs. It's like, the further that series goes on, the worse and worse those games get. So I'm wondering if they're going to take their strategy RPG franchise and they're going to say, okay, we're going to turn this into a turn-based RPG. That would be amazing. Then it went off into the future, and it said, 5 years have passed after the heroic games. The demon god is revived. He is here. Dagda is destroyed. Your 4 heroes have vanished. The progenitor god comes down, calls upon a single soul. This angel comes down. The true protagonist of the game is revealed, Eshmel. Yeah, and it says you can choose. Do you want to face the forces of this demon god on your own, or do you want to use the time-traveling powers of the goddess of Fortuna to change the fates of the 4 heroes, go back in time, save them, recruit them, save Dagda, and see what you can do? The true story begins. So that was huge to me. I was like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. I was thinking, Fortune's Weave, Fortune, 4. Okay, 4 heroes. Ha! There's 5 heroes. Yeah, 5th hero has been revealed. So cool, so cool, so cool. Super duper looking forward to this. I am going to be... I still don't know which game I'm going to play. Am I going to play Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave on September the 17th? Am I going to be playing another Eden Begins? Am I going to be playing Trails of the Sky 2nd Chapter? Am I going to be trying to play all 3 of them at the exact same time? I don't know. September is packed with this, and I'm so stoked, y'all. But now I want to hear from you. What do you think about all this? Let me know down in the comments, and as always, have a good day.